Imagine a world where social media does not exist. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and all others were like non-existent. Here's the question. What is social media? Matter of fact, what is media? Of course, it's something that we look at, see on a daily basis while we scroll down on our iPhone or Android screens, or maybe watch on our television and see what's the new thing going on, what's hot, what's trending, and what's not. But here's another question. Do you think all these forms of media have something to do with the way us as human beings function? Would we be who we are today if it wasn't for these social media trends and hashtags in use? Maybe, or maybe not. Let's see what Max Horkheimer and Theodor Adorno has to say about this. Max Horkheimer and Theodor Adorno are two German philosophers that wrote a piece called The Culture Industry, Enlightenment as Mass Deception, which focus on the influence mass media has towards the culture industry. They write that the less the culture industry has to promise and the less it can offer a meaningful explanation of life, the emptier the ideology it disseminates necessarily becomes. Even the abstract ideals of the harmony and benevolence of society are too concrete in the age of the universal advertisement. Abstractions, in particular, are identified as publicity devices. Language which appeals to mere truth only arouses impatience to get down to the real business behind it. The omnipresent and impenetrable world of appearances is set up as the ideal. So let's break that down a bit. First, it is safe to say that modern day of mass media comes from social media and television. Authors Horkheimer and Adorno says that if they, social media forms, don't have much to promise, then it is less likely the consumers believe what they are saying. If you really think about it, most of the things we view on our screens all have underlying promises, whether it be for people to look a certain way, to hide something, or have some type of outcome that results in a form of promise. Of course, they don't actually say the words of I or we promise, but simply showing a model of something is laying out what the final outcome could and should be. Horkheimer and Adorno also says that abstractions in particular are identified as publicity devices. These media forms today live upon feeding their consumers with ideas that seem so promising. Again, with the word promise, that us as consumers end up accepting with no question. In reality, what we see on our Instagram feeds or on our TV screens are like traps for us to keep consuming and directing our beliefs and attentions towards those abstract ideological promises and images. And finally, they write that the omnipresent and impenetrable world of appearances is set up as the ideal. This final point made in this paragraph basically sums up my last 2 points of how media works and influences its consumers on a daily basis. Social media is truly the world of appearances. These models that you see have appearances that consumers view as standards for beauty or a lifestyle. Even though Max Horkheimer and Theodor Adorno wrote this piece in the 1940s, I think it's interesting how even today this is still evident. I definitely agree that media forms today have this type of control towards people today, making their content almost a deception towards us as their viewers.